Welcome to Roaming with Restless Women, real talk with wise, dynamic women leaders. I'm Julie Noonan, your host, CEO, and founder of Intuitive Wisdom Coaching, and I'm living my dream life. I live and work in my RV, coaching senior women leaders as they navigate corporate politics, family drama, and personal goals to live their own dream lives. These women are restless. They are never done seeking new opportunities, learning, and ways to create value in the world. If you'd like to apply to be a guest, stick around to the end of the show and I'll let you know how. So let's go. Good morning and welcome to Roaming with Restless Women. I'm Julie Noonan and I'm here today with a good friend, Angela Foster. With over 2 decades of executive experience in the fashion and beauty industry, Angela Foster specializes in empowering high-achieving petite women to exude confidence by curating a wardrobe tailored to their unique needs. Angela's clients consistently show up self-assured, whether it's during a keynote presentation, high-stakes board meeting, or daily life, all thanks to a meticulously curated wardrobe. It works with their short girl status, accentuating their body type and reflecting their personal styles. Angela's expertise has been featured in Real Simple and Best Life, inside of leadership coaching programs, and on podcasts, including Wingnut Social and Liz Biz. Whether it's through DIY or personalized style coaching, Angela makes sure her clients never again find themselves paralyzed by the dreaded "I have nothing to wear" dilemma. Welcome, Angela.
Oh, Julie, thank you so much for having me. I've been looking forward to this.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. Well, I have too. So let's get started with, what was the trigger that prompted you to start your own company and specifically to focus on petite women?
Right. So I love this question. I think there's so many people who don't realize the amount of short girls out there. I mean, it's 44% of the world population, the women are 5'4" and under. And it's such an underrepresented class. And I think with me being in the fashion and beauty field, I didn't realize what a struggle it is for so many women to know what to buy, know what not to buy, which is equally important, knowing where to shop, knowing what they should gravitate towards and what to stay away from. And I was just blessed with being surrounded by, stylish women. So I just got to absorb all of that. And there's so many women out there that are in industries that they don't have access to all those smart women around them that can, help them out when they're growing their career. So one of my work girlfriends, she was going through a divorce, just had a second baby. So there was, body changes going on, plus, mental and emotional changes. And she asked me if I would help her. She said, "You always look so great. You always look so confident, blah, blah, blah. I don't know who I am. I don't recognize my body. Nothing fits me anymore." And all of that. So she asked if I would help. And that's how it all got started.
Oh,
So, yes.
wow. That's
Yeah,
amazing. So now let me just ask you a personal question. Are you
please.
also under 5'4"?
I am. I'm almost 5'2". Almost
Oh,
5'2".
almost. Okay.
Yes.
Well, I personally, I can only relate because both of my children, my two girls, are under 5'4". I used to be 5'7", then I had a baby and I'm 5'6". So
Okay.
I shrank an inch during that process. Um, but so one of the things that you mentioned is
Mhm.
shopping with intention. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Mhm.
Because I
Mhm.
personally, I have decent taste. I was in corporate America for,
Mhm.
30 years. I'm still
Yep.
in corporate
Yep.
America, but I work remote and I live in my RV and I travel all around the country. So, I have to look good from here up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Keep the party on top. Yep. You bet.
Exactly, exactly.
Mhm.
So tell me a little bit about shopping with intention. What do you
Yep.
really mean when you say that?
So, so many times, well, there's two things that happen. Oh my gosh, I have a huge meeting tomorrow. I have nothing to wear. So I'm going to run to the mall and panic shop. and I'm just going to grab anything that fits and all of that. So then what happens is we just end up with a bunch of stuff in our closet, which is what lends itself to the whole I have nothing to wear thing. I mean, I have worked with hundreds and hundreds of women, and when they show me their closet and they say I have nothing to wear, not one of their closets is like empty. There's stuff in there. Like there is actually stuff to wear. What they really mean is I don't like any of it, or none of it fits, or I don't feel good in any of it. One of the things is that there are in every woman's there are significant gaps that make it difficult to get dressed. That looks different for every one of my clients. So what we have to do is figure out how can we fill in those gaps? What is it actually that you need? And then buy that first. I'm not saying don't ever go out and buy like the fun thing that you might wear once a month, or whatever. But we
Yes.
have to get those staples or those basics that are actually going to expand your wardrobe first. And what happens a lot of times is we either, like I said, go to the mall or we go online shopping. We're drinking wine on the
Oh,
couch and
yeah.
Netflixing. And, we go through and we get an ad from one of our favorite stores and we're like, oh, that'd be cute. Well, that's how we end up with 8 black pencil skirts in our closet and no tops to go with any of them. You know what I mean? So my clients
Yep.
and I, we create a list after we go through the whole process. We create a list and we say, these are the things that we're going to tackle first, because this is what's going to make your life easier. Women waste so much time standing in the closet every morning trying to figure out what to wear and all of that. If we can cut down that time and give you that, it ends up being like, I want to say it's either 3 or 4 days a year that we waste trying to figure out what to wear. If you could have those 3 or 4 days
Wow.
back a year, can you imagine what you could accomplish? So, yes, that's our goal.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so when you are standing, I'm just imagining myself right now.
Of course, of
When
course.
when we decided to change our lifestyle and move into an RV, even
I've thought about that for
it's a
you.
big RV. It's a
Right.
big RV. Um, I think probably the hardest thing for me was to go through my clothes. I love clothes.
Yes.
I
Yes.
love them, and I'm easily bored.
Mhm.
So I, you know, what would you say to someone who is standing in front of that closet and saying, like you said, I don't have anything to wear. None of this is really great for me. This piece right here, it's great by itself on a hanger.
Mhm. Yes.
But then when I put it
Yes.
on me, I don't like it or I don't have anything to go with it. How do you
Absolutely.
help people purge
Right.
before they go with you
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
buy new stuff?
Such a good question. So I actually, over the years, I've developed a 5-step process that I take my clients through.
Uh-huh.
And most of them do it in like a VIP session. So we go
Yeah.
through all of it. There's obviously some pre-work, post-work, and all of that. But for 3 hours, we sit together and we go through everything, like what their style is, what their body shape is, and all of that. My ask of them when between the time that they first sign up and we go through the whole process is that they do not do any shopping and that they do not do any purging. So many times before I like lay that out as like, hey, this is a best practice, a lot of times women would do one of two things. They would be like, oh, I love that. And that fits my body. I'm going to go ahead and get it without any thought to, do I have anything to wear with it? Does it make sense for my lifestyle? Does it fit my personal style? Or on the flip side, they would go through and they would purge their entire closet and they'd be left with, 2 pairs of jeans and, 3 tops, and none of them like were appropriate for work or for the office or anything like that. So I said,
Right.
let's just put on the brakes for that. Let's go through these steps. Let's figure out what you have, what fits, what you still like, what speaks to your lifestyle today. Because you and I both know going from corporate to coaching is very different. Our
Yes.
lifestyles look different. What our needs were back then and what they are today, very different. But we have to get it clear in our minds first. So I would say to the listeners, if you're excited about closet purging, I love that because that's one of my favorite things to do with them. However, put on the brakes just a little bit until you have a plan, because there's been a lot of times clients have said, oh, I got rid of such and such, and now I know how I could have worn that or what I needed to get to go with that to make it work. And so
Yeah.
then they go through that like little, like that, like you know, donation regret thing that they
Oh,
have. So yes. So we just try to hold off on all of that. Now, when we do go through the process, there's that, oh, and especially a few years ago, there was that whole thing of take everything out of your closet, put it all on the bed. And I swear I heard that and I was like, I love that people are organizing their closets because that's critical to be happy with it. On the flip side, the idea of taking everything out of my closet and putting it on my bed like gives me hives. Like I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so much work. That's going to take so long and
right.
and all of that. So my clients and I, we tackle one category at a time, and it's the category that's going to make the biggest impact on their life. So if she says to me, I work 80 hours a week and my career wear is a disaster, then that's what we tackle first. You know what I mean? We go through the dress pants, we go through the blazers, we go through the dress blouses and all of that first.
Mhm.
And first of all, get rid, if it doesn't fit you, I don't care if it's too big or too small, get it out of your main closet. We'll decide what to do with it, whether to put it in a guest bedroom closet until, you feel comfortable donating it or whatever. But just, it doesn't have to be in the closet that you're in every single morning. So a lot of times when it'll be like, the tags are still on it, I've never worn it. I want to wear it or I want to fit back into it at some point in time in my life. That's fine. I don't like, there's zero pressure here for me to like, for you to get rid of it. On the flip side, thumbing through clothes every morning that don't fit you for whatever reason, not helpful. Either it's too big and I'm not going to wear it, so it's just a waste of time to keep touching it. Or on the flip side, I feel bad about myself because that 5 pounds has made it so that it's too tight and it's not comfortable and I don't want to wear it. Again, not good mind chatter to
No.
have in your head in the morning. So let's move it away. And then we actually see what you have left. And then
Yes.
it's so easy to say, oh, you know what? All you need is a crisp white blouse. You can wear it with this, and this. And then all of a sudden, you have so many more wardrobe options than you
Right.
had a day ago. So, and it's not always a boring white blouse, but you know what I'm saying? Like just that we fill in those
Well,
pockets so
sure.
that it's
Yeah.
easy. Yeah.
Well,
Mhm.
so how do you also create more looks with accessories? Because I
Right.
know I have done that just naturally because
Yes.
I couldn't back in the early days I couldn't afford 5 suits.
Right. Yes.
Especially when in the 90s when we were required to wear suits with
Absolutely.
skirts in the bank.
Right. Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so
Thank
I would buy
goodness. That's
different
good.
scarves to go with the different, and I would buy
Love it.
switch around jackets that would go with multiple,
Yep.
skirts,
Ah,
etc.
yes.
So tell me
Love it.
about how you help with the variety piece.
Right, exactly. I love that. So, one of my 5 steps is accessories.
Okay.
And because I work with women entrepreneurs who are usually very visible, whether it be on social media or presentations or in the however that is, what we do first is we figure out what their signature accessory is going to be. And we try to make it so it ties into what their favorite feature is. One
Okay.
of the things that we do when we talk about body shape is we figure out what your favorite feature is. Is it your legs? Is it your bust? Is it your waist? And then when we go to dress your body shape, we make sure that we accentuate that. If we can tie in your signature accessory so that it flatters your favorite feature, you're going to feel so much better every single day when you leave the house.
Mm-hmm.
I think with accessories, what happens is we go out and again, panic shop, we buy a
Oh,
dress, and then we realize, oh crap, we don't have shoes, we don't have earrings to go with it. So we end up with this hodgepodge in our jewelry box of, oh, we have these earrings and these bracelets and these necklaces, and it's just all of that. If we can say your signature accessory is going to be scarves, let's just go with your analogy because I do love that one. Then we're going to
yeah.
make sure that for all of your favorite outfits, we have a scarf that goes with it and focus on that first. And then we can tie in the other fun stuff like earrings, rings, bracelets, what shoes, whatever, handbags, and all of that. So that your signature accessory then really becomes, and it's not necessarily a conscious impression from the people who see her, but they will say, like, oh my gosh, that's the girl with the cute scarf all the time. And it starts to, before they, like in a sale, from a sales standpoint, the whole know, like, and trust, they start to know you, and then they start to recognize you, and then they remember your name. And then when they're looking for a change leadership coach, Julie's name pops to mind because I've seen all of these things and she's cemented in my head. Versus if you're changing your lookup all the time, then there's no consistency and it creates a longer know, like, and trust factor, period.
Absolutely. You're
Yeah.
right. Yes, I see that. So what's a challenging thing that you have experienced just in being an entrepreneur and doing your work in this area?
Right.
What's your most challenging thing about being a senior women leader?
Oh my gosh, where do I start? I knew you were going to ask a question. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to pin it down to just one. Um, I, oh gosh, I think probably like the whole marketing from a marketing standpoint, it's not that, I've heard a lot of people say, oh, coaches, they don't like to market, they don't like to sell. I don't necessarily know that we don't, because I think for a lot of us, we feel like, oh my gosh, we make such a difference in women's lives, whoever your client is, their lives. I want to get the message out there. But when you're first starting out, especially, and before you have a team, it's tough
Yes.
to, you know what I mean? Like you're going to default to what you love to do. And that's the coaching piece. That's the supporting your clients piece. So the
Hmm.
marketing piece falls down. And I think that getting to that spot where you carve out time, make sure you're disciplined, even when you don't want to, even when you would so much rather like be putting a lookbook together for one of your clients, but you're like, okay, on my calendar, it's time blocked. I have to do like these are the marketing things I have to do. I think that's probably the most challenging thing, or it was is the most challenging thing for me. Yeah. Because the
I would
client piece is the
agree.
fun part. Yeah. Like that's
Oh,
what you want to do all,
yes.
but unfortunately you have to do the other stuff too. So,
So tell me a little bit about your marketing. How do you get out there and meet these petite women that you work with?
right. So, a lot of my clients come from referrals. So, like, because, like half the women are short. So that type of thing. So a lot of them come from referrals, which is great because then they know
Mhm.
what to expect because like their best friend just went through the process. So she's like, okay, so this is what it is. So that's one thing. Um, social media is one of those things that I'm very like hot and cold on. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
sometimes it sounds like fun, sometimes it sounds like torture, do you know what I mean? So one of the first things I did was to delegate that to my assistant. I was like, okay, this is like, you think it's fun? Fantastic, go for it.
Yeah.
So there's that. Yes. Now, one of the things that my goal for this quarter is to really be more consistent on with YouTube videos. I'm getting to the point where my audience is big enough. They're like style wise, they're savvy enough that they have amazing questions. So they're always going, you know what? I would love it if you made a video on this, that, or the other thing. So
That's
that's one of the
wonderful.
things. Yeah. And at the beginning, you don't have any clients, so they're not asking you any questions. So you're like, I don't know what I'm talking about. Like what do people want to hear? But
Right.
fortunately, I'm blessed at that spot where people are like very candid and open with the questions that they have. So now it's like, okay, great. Now I have to buckle down and, like pay more attention to doing like quick little videos to help women out, even if they're not a client yet. So, yes.
That's wonderful. Well, what transition have you been through in your personal life that has impacted how you do business?
Oh, that's a good one. So, I and I'm trying to think, it was probably 10 years ago. And there a couple of things happened. I was working a lot of hours. I wasn't spending a lot of time with my guy. We had, it had been through the holiday rush period. Do you know what I mean? And we were trying to like reconnect and like do something fun. And I said to him, well, we took the dog for a walk on Christmas morning. We walked by this cooking school. And I was like, oh, that would be fun. Like, we don't come from families who are like big chefs. Do you know what I mean? Like opening up a box is
Oh,
pretty much where we're at, right?
nice.
So yes. So we're like, oh, well, that would be fun. And then just a couple months later, he said to me, I would love to get back into tennis. And Rich is the smartest guy I've ever met, the smartest guy I've ever met. And where I would definitely be like oh, let's buy a cookbook or let's go to the thing and, like, let's go to the tennis court and try to hit the ball back and forth. He was like, why would you try to figure it out yourself when you can hire somebody who's already been through it, knows through it, and they'll like make it more fun right away. And for whatever reason, that really made an impact on me. That whole like, you know what? You don't have to muscle through it. You don't have to go through all the struggles. You don't have to make
Mhm.
everything hard. You can hire an expert and say, teach me, this is what I want to know, teach me that. Now, usually what you
Right.
say, teach me that, it's not actually what you need to know,
Right,
but we all start
exactly.
somewhere, right?
Yeah,
But that just ends ever since then. Anytime I'm like, oh, I'm going to go Google how to do this, that, or the other thing, I'm like, wait a second, is this going to take too much of my time? Is it smarter at this point in my career to hire somebody to either do it for me or teach me how to do it and get me through all of those time sucks that happen?
oh,
So
yeah.
I would say that's probably it's probably, it's one of those things. Like, was it the most brilliant thing he's ever said to me? Probably not. But that and me being ready to hear it at that time really made an impact. And now it's something I always default to. So I always have a couple of coaches that I'm working with on different things. So yeah.
That's amazing. And that is great advice because I can tell you, just
Yes.
being an entrepreneur for the last 4 years, I was 57 when I got laid off
Oh,
during COVID. So
all
deciding at that
right.
point, just it was like, oh, screw this, I'm going to do my own thing, and I just trust that the universe is going to drop projects in my lap, which it did, which was nice. But
Yes.
I didn't. I was an English major, and yes, I worked in consulting, and I knew how businesses worked, but
Sure.
not my business.
Mhm.
I didn't
Yes.
know how to do accounting for a business. I never
Mhm.
took business classes like that. So,
Right.
and my first call was to an accountant, just so I
Mhm.
wouldn't get in trouble.
Right.
You know,
The fear of the IRS will
the
drive
fear of
a
the
lot.
IRS.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that was my first call. My second call, a little bit later, was to my daughter, actually, to ask her to kind of step in and help me with some of my administrative things because she was available, because she's a mortgage underwriter, and her workload had gone down significantly and she
Sure.
was bored and she wanted something else to do and I could pay her. So why not? Right. And I think that's one of the things that I hear a lot from beginning entrepreneurs is that they think they have to do everything themselves
Yeah.
because they don't have the money to pay for
Mhm.
someone.
Mhm.
But by the same token, when you look at the hours that you're spending, you don't have you don't have the time not to hire
Mhm.
someone.
Mhm.
You
100%.
really do need to at least carve out something that will give you some relief.
Yes.
And thank you for that because that's exactly true. And I love what he said. Why would you torture yourself when you
Yeah.
can hire somebody that knows, been there, done that, knows
Yes.
exactly what to do?
Yeah. And
We all know.
honestly, is so much better at it than you will ever be. You are
Oh,
never going to be an accountant, Julie. I know it's
oh
sad,
gosh,
but
no.
right. I know that's what, but do you know what I mean? Like, we'll never be a great accountant, and that's okay. They're so much
Yes.
better at it than you. They'll get it done faster. And when you, to your point, when you look at it and say, okay, well, I charge $600 an hour, it would take me forever to when it instead, if you could be back on that marketing thing and time block it on your calendar. So.
Oh, yes. Yes. So, what is your red thread? What is the thing, the value that you hold that throughout your whole career so far in your life, you've kind of held on to that one thing? What is that for you?
I don't know that it's been the same throughout my whole life. I
Okay.
feel like the older I get, the more self-aware that I become and all of that. And then also I think for right now where I'm at, like working one-on-one with women who have a lot of demands and who are super busy and are making a difference. So I think it's changed and matured quite a bit. But the one thing that I go into every client experience with is two things. I want to find that perfect balance between being a coach and being a cheerleader. And every client needs a different proportion of those two things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some women are very much like just the facts, like cut back on the fluff. Cool. Some women are like, they need that, they need that support and that boost to their self-esteem and to their confidence. So you dial up the cheerleader piece of it a little bit. But finding that perfect balance for each client is the number one important thing really that I do besides, talk about clothes and closet and all of that. I want every single woman that I work with to feel like she's my only client. She's my number one priority and all of that. So many times women aren't the priority in their family. The priority is the kids, like everything else. So I want them to have like one spot that they can go to where they're like the rock star. Everything is
Yes.
about them. Um, and I hope eventually that they like, this is good. I need to be the priority in more areas of my life. And
Yes.
maybe they'll carve out a little bit of time at home, at least to make themselves the priority for a few minutes and that type of thing. So,
Oh, that's a beautiful mission. I love that.
yeah, thanks.
I end all of my sessions with three questions. So I will ask you to close your eyes and describe the picture that appears when I say wise woman, and open your eyes and describe what you see.
So, the wisest woman that I've ever met, and I'm still super blessed to have her in my life, is my mentor from my corporate career, Lily. She is every time, I mean, and we've known each other for, I don't even know, 15 years now, maybe longer. I probably don't want to do the math. Um, every single time I talk to her, I walk away feeling smarter, more in control, more like specific on my goals. The way that she's so emotionally brilliant when it comes to people and situations and all of that. I adore her and I feel so incredibly blessed to have her in my life. So,
That's great. That's
mhm,
great.
yes.
Okay, second to the last question. Where do you
Okay.
like to roam?
This is okay. So this is one of the tougher ones. So there's tons of sexy places to go. I always feel like, so this is going to be the unsexiest answer you've ever gotten on your show,
Oh,
but
I don't know about that.
but I grew up in the Midwest. My family still lives there, and going back home and being reconnected to that very much down to earth, not glamorous, all about, like family and community and all of that is always makes such an impact on me. I always leave the time with them thinking, I'm really blessed. That was great. It was flipping cold. I'm glad to get back to Florida. But I still feel like all of a sudden, like all the fluffy stuff, you know what I mean, and it's just like, this is what we're really here to do
Yeah,
and all of that. So I think that's a good, it's just like dials back and gets me back to like what's important, who's important, and all of that. So, yes.
that's beautiful. Yes.
Thanks.
I also like to go home to North Carolina.
Oh, I
It's just being around the people that you grew up with,
love. Mhm.
um, and that they know you and love you regardless of your crap.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I know. Julie, isn't that so funny? Yes, they saw
Yeah,
you all of, and they still love you.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly. They kind of have to.
Yes. Absolutely.
So, Angela, what makes you restless in a good way?
Right, right. I I th- so as an entrepreneur, there's always a bajillion things that you want to do. And I think that's great. And I think that's one of the reasons why restless women are attracted to entrepreneurship is because there's always something up. There's never like my job is done, I know everything and all of that. There's always something else to learn. So I think that's great. One of the things though is that that's awesome. And when you have a lot of ideas, that's great. But when you don't have a plan or you don't have a priority list, that makes me like, okay, we need to like figure this out, right? So that like
Mhm.
kind of keeps me grounded from that standpoint, because it's so easy to get distracted by, oh my gosh, that sounds like fun. And that sounds like fun.
Oh yeah,
Right. And all of that. So, like really making sure that you have a strategy.
absolutely. And the thing about it is that the curiosity that restless women have, the curiosity, the need to learn more, the need to
Yeah.
experience different things, the need for variety. It's a great trait, but it
Mhm.
can also derail you if you're not
Mhm.
careful.
Yep. Yep.
We become rabbits going down holes
Oh,
more
right.
times than not.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's a meme on Pinterest and it says something about um my ducks aren't ducks, they're squirrels and they're at a rave or something like that. But anyways, it's funny. It
Yes.
always makes my ducks are not in a row, they're squirrels at a rave and they're yes.
Oh, that's for sure. Well, Angela, it has been lovely meeting
Oh,
you
thank
and
you.
talking with you. And thank you for your tips on, just basically women. I think on the surface, you think clothes, clothes, but it makes so much difference in your level of confidence. When you feel great, you look great. You're presenting the image that you want the world to see that garners you the most respect. And
Absolutely.
that's really what we're going after. It's not, I want everybody to like me. As
Right.
a business owner, it's, I want you to respect me and, by the way, hire me. But
Right. Yes. Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, exactly. So thank you
Yeah.
so much for being on today.
Oh no, Julie, thank you so much for having me.
Now, how can people get a hold of you to learn more about your services and possibly hire you to help?
Absolutely. So I actually have a gift for your listeners.
Oh, thank you.
Everything I know, everyone that I work with starts off with body shape. So there's actually a free body shape quiz that your listeners can take. They'll get the personalized suggestions on the styles and the silhouettes that look best on them, how to pair those things into outfits so that they can, to your point, take all of that stuff in their closet and actually have something to get dressed in the morning. So they can
Perfect.
go to angelafoster.co/Julie and get that started. And it's quick. It's not one of those things, 150 questions. I
Oh,
think it's
yeah.
7 questions, 2 minutes or something. So
Okay,
it'll be
we
fast.
can do that. I will
Yes.
make sure that that is in the show notes. And thank
Awesome.
you all for
Thank you.
listening today. And thank you, Angela, for being here. And
Thank
have a
you.
great day. And we'll see you the next time. Julie Noonan here. Thank you so much for listening to Roaming with Restless Women. If you're a successful senior woman leader who would like to be on this program, please visit podcast.intuitivewisdomcoach.com. If you enjoyed this interview, please share this episode on social media and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Your thumbs up, ratings, and reviews go a long way to help promote the show, and they mean a lot to me, my team, and most importantly, my restless guests. As a special gift to you, our listeners, I offer a free one-on-one 15-minute breakthrough session. Bring a problem and experience how coaching works to see if it could be of value to you. Sign up for an available time on my website, intuitivewisdomcoach.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.